My colleague Kojo Yankson is at the Tema motorway right now, but there was an incident yesterday involving some military personnel who lost their lives, and Kojo joins us now to give us details on that. Hello, Kojo.
Yes, hello, Bernice. At the moment, what you can see through your screens is the bottom of the motorway. So you can see some vehicles moving across on top. That is the Accra to Tema side of the motorway that you are looking at. Now, on the other side, beyond it, is the Tema to Accra side of the motorway. And in fact, if you look beneath the Accra to Tema side, you can see where the boundary, the barrier is broken on the Tema to Accra side. That is where the military pickup fell in last night between 8 and 9 p.m. It had about 10 passengers in the bed of the truck or the bucket of the truck, and it had 4 adults and 1 baby in the cabin of the pickup. Reports indicate that they were returning from a funeral. Now, when they got to that stretch of the motorway from Tema going to Accra, the rain in this particular water body that I'm standing next to, which is basically a massive waterway, a gutter, a culvert, the rain here had risen up so high that it was covering the surface of the motorway. So essentially, the drivers could not see the edges of the motorway as they drove through the water. And the driver of this pickup, unfortunately, missed the edge of the motorway and fell in where that barrier is broken on the Tema to Accra side of the motorway. Now, once they fell in, 7 of the 10 people in the bucket of the pickup managed to swim to safety. Some of them were rescued by onlookers, but 3 of them are now missing. As for those in the cabin of the pickup, they were not so lucky. The level of the water was so high that the rescuers could not see the pickup. They couldn't find it. It had washed down this waterway and found its way somewhere beyond their reach. It wasn't until 2:30 a.m. that all 4 of the adults in the cabin were found. Unfortunately, they were dead. The baby is still yet to be found. Same for 3 of the 10 who were in the bucket of the pickup. Their bodies or their persons have not been located. And that is the situation. But the people who live in this area of Ajekojo, which is to my right, those people are complaining that this is not the first time this has happened. Anytime it rains, people end up in the ditch between the motorways and on the sides of the motorway. And this is simply because they can't see the edges of the road. So what they're calling for is an engineering solution that will prevent this. And of course, they are calling for street lights as well. For about a mile on either side of this particular culvert on the motorway in both directions, there are no street lights, Bernice. So essentially, people are driving blind in the dark, and they can't see the edges of the water, of the road because of the water, and they end up in a big culvert like this. And unfortunately for some, this could end up being your grave.
Kojo, apart from the residents you've spoken to this morning, have you seen anybody from the city authorities trying to assess the area and pick up the issue with the damaged railing that for which reason the people fell into that water we're seeing now? Has there been any official assessment of the area?
So Bernice, the mayor of Tema is on his way here. When he gets here, I will engage him in that conversation. He, of course, was here overnight along with the NADMO operatives who were heading the rescue mission. So in fact, he hasn't slept a wink, according to him when I spoke to him this morning. But what he says is that when he gets here, we can get into all of the issues of what is the cause of this problem and what the solutions ought to be. This railing will definitely be one of the things I'll ask him about, but not just that. The general question of how our lack of sanitation practices is blocking and clogging up all the different waterways, causing them to flood and overflow, like what we see on the motorway, is something we want to talk about. And Bernice, you are looking at the sort of debris that causes that clogging. Bear in mind, where I'm standing yesterday would have been about 6 feet underwater last night. So now that the water has settled, you can see the things it was moving along, from baby diapers to the ever-present black polythene bags, to sponges that are used for bathing, to soap holders, socks, linoleum from the floor. All kinds of things have found their way here because people have dumped them in gutters across the city. So the problem persists. Sanitation continues to be a cause of death here in Ghana. Yet we are not taking it for the life and death situation that it ought to be. When the mayor of Tema arrives, it is definitely one of the issues I would like to raise with him. Because if his sanitation plan was effective, we ought not be seeing this, Bernice.
Indeed, Kojo, kindly remind him also about the Bureau of Public Safety's letter to the Roads Ministry asking that the Tema motorway itself be redesigned and reclassified. I'm sure with what has happened recently, what happened yesterday, and the loss of lives of 4 persons, it brings that into better perspective. We'll let you go now, but we would stay in touch with you and just let us know when the minister arrives, and then we can see the mayor, I beg your pardon. But let's go back to the Tema motorway. Michael Ikojo-Youngson is there. He's there because unfortunately 4 people lost their lives on that road yesterday, and it wasn't an accident or a crash per se. It was as a result of floods due to the rains. He's got the Tema mayor with him right now. Hello, Kojo, if you can hear me, what is happening now?
Well, at the moment, we've been joined by the mayor of Tema. He was here last night when the rescue efforts were underway. He's in the person of Mr. Felix Mensani Anangla. Mr. Anangla, thank you very much for your time with us. Last night, you were here on your feet during the rescue efforts. But as we understand it, we have lost some lives. Can you tell us who we lost last night?
We lost a soldier man who is a W, a soldier lady who is also a W, that is husband and wife, and a civilian, and another lady who happens to be one of the senior military officer's daughter. She was the one who was carrying the baby. The baby was yet to be seen.
Now, last night, we understand that where you are standing is exactly where the car veered off into this culvert that separates 2 sides of Tema. But as you can see, the guardrail is broken and has been broken for some time. And it is clear from the tire treads of the vehicle that if this guardrail had been here, it would have stopped the car from falling into the water. The people of the community complain that this thing has been in disrepair for a while. As the mayor, are you aware of this?
I'm not aware, but I don't know if it has happened long ago. But I don't want to speak to this because I know Ghana Highway Authority will speak to that. It is purely their issue. I don't know the technicalities that goes into it. But as far as I'm concerned, I was here throughout the night when the police officers here and the military officers point this particular place to us that there is a tie of the vehicle. So it happens because there is so much water on this bridge overflow. So it was difficult for the driver to locate his bearing on the road. That's why he drove. So as he was entering the gutter, he applied a trans-brake. That's why we can see this thing here.
But what the people are telling us is that this place has been uncovered for a very long time, and whenever it rains, the water floods over onto the motorway. Are you aware of that situation, and is it something that you have been dealing with or not? How come this problem persists today?
Yes, I'm aware, but if you look at the nature of the motorway, if this place has not been blocked, it is not an issue at all. This is an accident, and it has happened because the driver cannot see his way clear. So let's accept it like that. We shouldn't apportion blames at as to who is supposed to do what. And if not because of the rain, there is no way any driver will veer off the road and enter this drain.
So to be clear, what you're saying is that the fact that this place is not guarded is not an issue?
Because of the accident, if we have to do something about it, fine. But as you can see the vehicles moving, I don't think it's an issue. But because of what has happened, we have to take lessons of what has happened today and maybe do something about it. That is exactly what I was trying to say, that I will communicate with the Ghana Highway Authority, and so that together we look at what we can do.
So let's... Michael Kojo-Yankson is speaking to the Tema Mayor Felix Ni Ananla on the unfortunate incident that happened yesterday. We'll be following this closely and we'll bring you more analysis in subsequent bulletins.